Okay, here's the plan. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm setting my 2023 intentions, and yes, I know it's basically the end of January when you're seeing this and I'm super late, but I think I said this in my 2022 wrap up. I feel like I saw on Twitter someone saying that 2023 is starting in February this year and like January is like the soft open, so we're rolling with that. But I really wanted to get this video up, even though I am a bit late with it, just to kind of set the tone for the year. And also the completionist in me likes to have one of these videos for each year that I'm on Booktube. So if you haven't watched one of these videos from me before, I will link 2022's video in the description for you. I don't set goals, I don't set New Year's resolutions, I set intentions. To me, it's the English teacher in me, I know, but language is really important, the words that we use are really important, and I feel like intention is a better word for me than goal. Like goal or target or resolution, it feels too hard. I feel like I'm going to fail immediately. Whereas if I have the intention to do something, if I'm intending to do something, it feels a lot more achievable and a lot more manageable. So we're going to talk through, I've got 8 on my list in my trusty blue notebook. And I'm just going to talk you through them in this video. As usual, I need to give the usual caveats. I have got all 3 cats who are currently super active because they've just had breakfast. So if you can hear scrabbling around, running around, if you see one of them, I apologise in advance. They're all a little bit crazy this morning. Also, my next door neighbours, if you saw my 2022 wrap-up video, which I filmed just now at the time of filming, my next door neighbours are currently having a karaoke party at 10 o'clock in the morning, so I'm sorry if you can hear them as well. Okay, so let's get started with this. So number 1, my number 1 intention. So each year I choose a word, and that word kind of sets the tone for the year. And actually for 2023 I've chosen 2 words because I just couldn't decide, and in the end I was like, this is my intentions, I can do what I want. So my first word for 2023 is going to be nourish, and last year one of my words was focus, and I feel like this year I need to be kind of putting my energy into nourishing both myself and continuing to nourish the people around me. And actually that leads into my second word, which is continue. So 2023, I want to keep doing lots of things I was doing last year. It's going to be another very busy year. My job is intense. That's not going to change. Charlie's growing up. Gary's busy with his work. We've got 3 cats who are complete lunatics. As much as we love them, they are crazy. And I want to kind of continue what I was doing last year, but I do definitely want to focus more on nourishing, mostly myself. I'm really, really bad at looking after myself. As you can probably hear from my voice, I've got yet another chest infection. That's kind of the nature of the job sometimes. That was Jack. He's investigating precisely nothing. Are you okay? Oh, Savannah's had the audacity to be sitting in the hallway. How very dare she? You may well hear a cat scrap in a second. They are getting better, but he's not in the mood today. Yes, so I need to look after myself better, basically. And all of my friends and close family members and my husband have been shouting at me about that for the last 18 months. But it's definitely something I want to focus on this year. So nourish and continue are my 2 words for 2023. Secondly, I would like to read 150 books. That is what I have set my GoodReads and StoryGraph goals at. If you want to come and find me on either of those platforms, I will link them in the description. Yes, I use both. I really like StoryGraph, but I also, again, the completionist in me also likes to have GoodReads on the go at the same time because I've been using it for such a long time now, so I use both. So I've set my target at 150 books. That's about 12.5 a month. Obviously, some reading months are going to be far better than others. That's totally normal for everybody, and it's definitely true for me. At the time of filming this, I'm already 3 books behind my goal, which is slightly stressing me out. So I might just turn off on StoryGraph and GoodReads. You can turn off whether it tells you whether you're up to date or not. So I might just switch that off for a bit until I hit more of a rhythm. But yes, I would like to reach 150 books this year, having read 157 in 2022. I feel like it's doable. So that's why I've set it at that number. Then intention number 3 is one I've already broken because it is to post 1 video a week. And I already took a break last week. However, they're not growling at each other, they're fine. Actually, they're not growling at each other, it's just Jack growling at her. She's probably doing nothing more than sitting. So anyway, I want to post over the course of the year enough videos to have posted 1 video a week, if that makes sense. Sometimes I do have to take breaks. I am unapologetic about that. It's one of the things, sometimes life gets in the way. I don't have time to film, or I don't have the energy to film, and I don't want to put up videos that I'm not proud of. So yes, 1 video a week, or enough videos to average out to 1 video a week. Number 4 is to continue to fundraise. So last year we raised over £300 for Mind via this channel. That was a mixture of different things, which we'll talk about in a minute. This year I've chosen Book Trust as my charity of choice. They work with schools, libraries and other places to get books into the hands of children who need them, who might not have access to books. We worked with them recently at school, and they gave every single kid in our year 7 and 8, so it's about 200 kids, a free book of their choice. They were given a choice of about 10 books to choose from. They picked a book, and then a few weeks later, just before Christmas, like magic, they arrived, and every single child in both of those year groups had a free book, and it was incredible. And I've looked into them a bit more, and they're a charity, so they need funds, and obviously it links with reading and books in this channel, and also my job as an English teacher. So Book Trust will be charity of choice for 2023, and we are going to fundraise for them in a number of ways. So firstly, I will be donating £1 per book that I read every single month. And when I'm talking about money and things, I have an entirely separate bank account for the channel. Obviously it's like owned and controlled by me, but I put the money in there each month, and then on the 31st of December I will do the donation to Book Trust, just like I did with Mind at the end of December 2022. So £1 per book that I read will go into that bank account. 100%, so all of my AdSense from this channel will also go into that bank account. So please, when you're watching my videos, please don't skip the ads, don't turn them off. Please watch with the ads on, because every single view helps a tiny bit. I only ever have mid-roll, so mid-video adverts if the video is over 45 minutes. So it's usually just my wrap-ups that will have a mid-roll, and I will usually only try and put 1 in the middle, so it's not like constant adverts, because it's really annoying and I think it interrupts the flow of the video. But there will always be an ad, or I will have turned ads on for the start and the end of each video. They don't always show up, but if there is an ad, please watch it, please don't skip it, because we are going to donate all of that money to Book Trust. And then finally, 50%, so half of any sponsored content that I get in this year will also go into that pot. So at the moment I'm working with Tandem. I will put the announcement video in the description of this. I'm working with Tandem who have been kind enough to sponsor 3 videos, all based around Immune, which is a non-fiction science book about the immune system. I'm currently reading it. It's super interesting. I'm learning loads. They have paid for those videos. That's why they are sponsored videos. So half of the money that they have paid me for that content will go into the Book Trust account, and then the other half will be for me and help me with cost of living stuff. But I think half of sponsored content is a good amount to be donating. So that is how we are going to do that, and we'll see what we can raise for Book Trust this year. If we could raise as much as £300 would be amazing. If we could raise a bit more, that'd be great. Even if we raise £100, that's still £100 they wouldn't have had otherwise. So like I said, if you want to help with that, watch my content with the ads on, and then you're doing your bit. Okay, number 5, so we're over halfway through. My TBR excuse me, my TBR at the end of last year was on 47 books in December. And I'm really happy with that number. And what I've put here is keep TBR to between 50 and 80 books max, okay? So I'm very lucky to get sent books regularly by publishers. Also, you lovely people who watch my content will occasionally send me something from my wish list, and occasionally I will buy myself something. And obviously friends and family in my real life will also occasionally get me books. So the idea of a 0 TBR is really appealing to me in lots of ways. But I know that it's not realistic, and it is nice to be able, it's a massive luxury and privilege to be able to go to my bookshelves and go, which of these 50 books shall I read? So I feel like keeping it between 50 and 80 is a reasonable intention to have. Obviously, everybody does TBRs differently. I follow people who have 0 TBRs, who have TBRs of 700 books, people in the middle. Whatever works for you is brilliant. I definitely found in 2021 and 2022, when my TBR gets above 80, I personally find that a bit stressful, because I feel like I have like an obligation then to read the books, and it takes some of the pleasure out of reading. So having a smaller TBR is definitely the way forward for me. And I am going to try and keep it, the intention is to keep it between 50 and 80 maximum. If I can keep it, I think 30 is probably where my comfort zone is, but we'll kind of give myself a little bit of leeway. And then kind of included in that is I'm also going to play balancing the books at the end of each month. So, I've now got a hiccup, sorry. At the time of filming this, I am midway through filming my January wrap-up. So at the end of each wrap-up video, I'm going to play Balancing the Books, which was created by the wonderful Emma, Emma from Drinking by My Shelf. I cannot talk today, I'm sorry. I see a few different people play different versions of it. But basically, I'm going to look at the number of books I've read, the number of books that have come in, and I'm going to try and make those two things balance. If I have hauled more books than I've read, I'm not going to unhaul, but I will choose. So say I've had 3 more books in than I've read, I will then have 3 books on my TBR that I have to read the following month, or I have to unhaul those, if that makes sense. So I'm going to try and do that to kind of make sure that my books coming in aren't outweighing books going out too much. The only month I won't do that is in August, because that's my birthday month and I tend to get a lot of books at once, and potentially that could make things very, very stressful. So yeah, I'm going to try and be more conscious and kind of track books coming in, books going out. That's my intention. Okay. Number 6, talking about books coming in, books coming out, I'm going to do quarterly unhauls. I am really good at unhauling books in that I'm really good at making a stack of books. I'm like, I'm going to unhaul those, and then they sit there for months and months and months. My last unhaul, which I'll link in the description, I think was in like October time. It's now January, and those books only left my house last week, because I'm really bad at actually physically getting rid of them. I take them off my shelves, they go into bags, they go in the spare room, and then they sit there. So one thing I want to be a lot better at this year is actually getting the books out of my house. But I also want to make sure I film quarterly unhauls, because I'm really bad for going, oh yeah, I'm going to film an unhaul, and then the pile gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and I don't film. So quarterly unhauls will be coming. And part of that intention is also to be getting those books physically out of my house. The way that I do that is, some books I send to friends. I will put pictures into like WhatsApp chat groups and be like, does anybody want any of these? Anything that's YA or middle grade, I take to school and put in my classroom library. ARCs and things that other book friends don't want go into the staff room. And then anything that's left, I either donate to charity or I sell via, is it Ziffit? I think it was Ziffit that I did it through last time. I do it that way. So yeah, I need to be a lot better at that, at actually not just taking the books off my shelf, but actually getting them out of my house and into the world. So I feel like planning in quarterly unhaul videos will help me with that. And then 2 more. So no books older than 12 months on the TBR. So I have realised over the last year or so that my reading taste is evolving and changing all the time. So if a book sits on my shelf for longer than 12 months, the chances of me actually enjoying that book starts to drop dramatically. So this is the year where I'm not setting monthly TBRs, as you probably noticed. There wasn't one for January, because I found actually my best reading months last year were the months where I didn't have a TBR and I was just mood reading. So I'm not setting deliberate TBRs each month. I do have some books each month that I need to read for like various projects, and I'll talk about ARCs and stuff in a minute. But I will be focusing my mood reading, should we put it that way, on the oldest books on my TBR first, and any books that have been there for a year or more are my priority. That's what I've been working on in January. And I do have all of my books in my reading journal with the month they came in, or the time of year that they came in, and then as I finish them, if I finish them they go in green. If I unhauled them unread, then they are purple. No, if I unhaul them unread, they're pink, and then if I ended up unhauling them, they are in purple. So yeah, it tells me, for example, that right now the oldest book on my TBR is Starfell, which came in Christmas 2021, and I'm actually currently reading this as I'm filming, so that will definitely come off the TBR this month. And then the next one, oldest one after that, is Golden Hill, which is also in my currently reading pile right now, and that was also from Christmas 2021. And once I've read those two, the oldest book is from March. So I'm doing pretty well once I get those two off the TBR. Yeah, like I said, I just want to get my make sure that I'm picking up books that I'm excited about. And I feel like with the way my reading is changing, my reading taste is changing and adapting all the time, if it's been there for longer than a year, I'm probably not going to want to read it, or I get less excited about it. So if I can kind of keep on top of that, that would be good. And then the last one, number 8, is to keep up with my ARCs. I am very lucky and very privileged to get sent ARCs or advanced reader copies by publishers pretty regularly. Most months I get ARCs coming in, or I'm offered ARCs and I say yes please. Occasionally I say no thank you because it's not quite my thing, but you know, I'm very lucky to get sent stuff by various different publishers. I'm always upfront, incidentally. I will always say when it's an ARC that's been sent to me for review, because I feel like that's really important. But also, even if it's been sent to me for review, I will still give my full and honest opinion. So if I didn't enjoy it, I will tell you. I just want to keep up on top of those because I got really good at it last year and so far we're doing okay, but I feel like being sent an ARC is a privilege, and if you're sent one, then you should read it ideally just before publication date. And I know everyone does it differently, and as long as you read it at some point and talk about it, that's the point of it being sent to you. But I like to read the book the month before it comes out so that I can be part of that kind of like hyping it up before release date, especially if it's one that I've really enjoyed. So yeah, those are my 8 intentions for 2023. Tell me in the comments, do you choose a word for each year? If you do, what is your word for 2023? If you made it to this point in the video, leave me the list emoji. I feel like that would be a good one. Please subscribe if you would like more of this chaos, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks everyone. Bye.